A narcissist completely changes you as a person. They destroy your self-esteem. Your self-worth is nowhere to be found. They change your self-concept into a version that is quite opposite to what it used to be before you met them. But how do they make all of these changes happen? Well, they make you feel unimportant and small within. But one of the most damaging things that they do is they make you feel like you are a burden, that your existence is a burden that should not exist. How does that all work? What are the things that they do to make you feel so? Let's find out in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In this episode, we're going to talk about 5 ways a narcissist makes you feel like you're a burden. If that sounds interesting and you want to learn more, please subscribe by pressing the subscribe button and press the bell icon to stay notified. Before we get started, I'm really curious to know, how did the narcissist that you were with made you feel like a burden? Drop your experiences in the comments below and help other survivors feel deeply validated. Number 1, they do not want to spend on you, and whenever they do, they see it as a liability that they cannot get rid of. It is a narcissistic parent that you are a child of. Spending on your food, your clothing, and even on your health is seen as a huge burden, a huge cost that can be easily cut off by getting rid of you. But because they can't get rid of you, so they have to put up with it. They make you feel like you're a burden by making you beg for every single thing, be it your clothes, your new phone. Every single aspect of your life is dependent on them, and they like and enjoy it that they have this much control over you. But make you ask for the same thing again and again and again until it loses meaning and you feel so ashamed for having the need at the first place. They do not like to get the money out of their pocket. They just want to hoard it, most of them I would say, in different ways, and they see spending on you as a huge responsibility that they do not want to take care of. If it is a narcissistic spouse that you are financially dependent on, then your life is definitely going to be a hell. Why? Because they would make you beg and settle for scraps. They would ask you to just be okay with what they give you, and every single time you bring up your needs, the new clothes or something new that they need, or even your health issues, if you ask them to take you to the doctors, they would blame you for being ungrateful or pressurizing them for earning more when they have surplus to spend on you or to take care of your basic needs. You would feel so ashamed in yourself and you would start criticizing your own needs for having needs at the first place, or for being ungrateful or pressurizing them to spend on you when you should be okay with what they give you. Number 2, they treat your emotions as a burden. You know that a narcissist doesn't have any true emotions to express. Therefore, they see everyone else's emotions, especially yours, as a burden that they should not be expected to take care of. They want to treat you like a doormat, walk all over you throughout the relationship, treat you however they want to treat you, but expect you to have no voice. They want you to put up with their treatment, with their abuse, and just get along with it. Rather, they want you to help them to abuse you by staying silent, by not questioning their motives, by not asking for more information, by not pushing them, or by not doing things that would make them question their ways or reflect a little bit. So whenever you express your emotions, be it anger, be it sadness, be it resentment or frustration about anything related to them, they would ridicule you, they would criticize you, they would blame you for having emotions at the first place, because they hate emotions. They think having emotions is a sign of weakness. So why do you have emotions at the first place? Why are you complaining when you should be okay with what I am doing for you or how I am treating with you? After all, there is nothing wrong with my treatment. So the expression of your emotions is ridiculed, invalidated heavily, and then you curse yourself for expressing your emotions at the first place or going to this person for some support. Every single time you express your feelings, you're made to think that you are feeling the wrong emotions or you are feeling the wrong feelings, and you shouldn't be feeling anything at all. as a result and consequently, what do? You start suppressing yourself. You start burying these emotions and feelings deep within your psyche, and ultimately that leads to the development of different physical ailments, because what is never expressed verbally or in the ways it should be expressed is expressed differently by your body in the form of diseases and defects and in other problems and health related issues that shouldn't be there at the first place. So your emotions are treated like a burden, and ultimately that means you are a burden for having these emotions. Number 3, they make you feel like a burden by constantly comparing with others. You know that for a narcissist, nothing is enough. They always keep moving the target. No matter what you do for them, they still need more, and it won't be enough. It would not fill their empty cup, because the cup has a hole in the bottom. So everything that you put into it is leaked from the bottom, and they blame it on you when it's their cup that is defected. So they have to have this constant comparison going on. They would compare you with your siblings for not being as good as your brother, for not being as bright or as intelligent as your sister. Or they would compare you with your neighbors, your classmates, anyone that they can use to put you down. Because by putting you down, they're projecting their deep insecurities on you, and they are kind of emotionally regulating themselves through you, but at the expense of making you feel like a burden. When you're constantly told that this and that person is better than you in this aspect, when you're constantly told that you are filled with deficits and you lack this and you lack that, ultimately, and it's inevitably, you will feel like you are a liability, you are a waste of resources, you are a waste of energy, you are the waste of the food that they are feeding you. You would definitely feel like you should not exist, or I would say, and you start hating yourself for being this way, when it is them, it is their insecurity that has been projected on you. It is not your flaw. It is not about your flaws. It is about who they are, but they can't accept it. So you are the one to carry that burden. In truth, their existence is a burden. They feel it to be a burden, but because they can't accept it out of their narcissism, so the next person who has to feel it is you. It is like you have to carry that feeling for them because they can't carry it themselves. Number 4, they make you feel like a burden by revising history and how much they have done for you. I have been a personal victim of this with my narcissistic mother over and over again. Every single time I would bring something up, something I would be angry with, something that I would be frustrated with, something that she would have done, and I would want her to take responsibility for her actions. She would somehow take it to how many years she has sacrificed for me, how she has sacrificed her youth for me, and how she has done this, that, and the other, as if I asked you to do it. You had your options, you were an adult, you could have chosen better for us and for yourself, but you did not. So you made a choice, but you had to kind of put it on me so that you could bury me with this burden, and I would feel guilty for questioning you at the first place, and out of my guilt I would then say sorry and forget the main issue. This is what they do. They make you look at every single thing that they have done for you in the past, which tells us that every single time they do anything for you, they have an agenda in the mind. Maybe it's conscious, unconscious, I don't know, but they kind of know that, okay, if I do this right now, this nice thing, later I can use it, I can burden them with a sense of responsibility and obligation, and they would not be able to deny it. And the same happens. They count every single thing whenever you try to question them, whenever you bring up other issues in the relationship, and you try to hold them accountable, but they would make it all about themselves by being a martyr, by being this sacrificing person who has given everything for you. And look at you, see how you're questioning this godlike parent, godlike spouse who you should be worshipping, then questioning. You are doing the wrong thing, therefore you should be punished with the guilt, and here is your guilt. Feel like a burden and die with that feeling, and I'll feel better about myself by for making you feel this way. Number 5 and the last one, they shame, blame and criticize you when you're going through a difficult time in your life. For example, you have lost a job, or God forbid you have been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and you need treatment, you need some support for recovery. Instead of showing up and being there for you, to support you, to tell you that everything is going to be okay and we're going to make it through together, we are going to survive it together, it's a joint problem, it's not only yours to carry, this burden is not only yours to take care of, I'll help you to take care of it. What do? Out of their cruel and sadistic nature, they leave you alone as if it doesn't concern them. Well, it doesn't concern them, because the only thing that concerns a narcissist is their own issue. If it is about them, then and only they would pay attention. If it doesn't, they don't give a damn. So you are left alone. You would be visiting the hospital, getting the chemotherapy sessions on your own. There would be no one to emotionally support you. They wouldn't show up, they would make up excuses, they would just leave you. And rather, I would say, completely deny your existence, because you are not giving them the supply that they need from you. So why spend resources on you when you're not useful for them? So what do? They go to this other person, other source of supply that can fulfill their needs, and you're abandoned until you get better. When you get better, they show up again and act as if nothing has happened and expect you to get along with the process of this abuse and give them what they think you're obliged to give them. You have financial crisis going on, you need a little bit of money, you need some help. They make you beg for it. They make you seem like they are doing you a big favor and you're such a burden, such a bad person, such an unworthy person, and you should feel ashamed of yourself for being a failure. And here I am with this gracious, with this big heart, and I'll do things for you and you should now worship me. This is something that you cannot ever repay me. You owe me your life, your emotions, your feelings, everything that you have to offer, and it still is not enough. That is how they make you feel. So they escape, they disappear, they go away when you need them the most. And if they stay there, like for example, if you're sick and they have to cook meals for children, or if they have to take children to the school, or if they have to do something that you used to do, they would berate you. They would do it, of course they would, but they would do it in a way that would consciously, unconsciously, directly, indirectly, subtly, overtly, covertly make you feel ashamed for falling sick, because you were not expected to get sick, fall ill at the first place. You should be perfect. You should be running on your toes all the time. How dare you fall sick? Because now they have to take care of things that are way beneath them. In conclusion, a narcissist treats you like an object with an expiry date, and once that expiry date hits, they throw you away as if you never meant anything to them. They keep you around because they need you, but they hate the fact that they need you. So of course they punish you for their own need of needing you. They treat you like a burden. They treat you in the worst ways imaginable, because they cannot accept the fact that they depend on someone when their grandiosity tells them that they are absolutely, totally, fully independent and do not need anyone except themselves in their life. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it insightful, and if you did, let me know in comments, drop a like, please share this episode and subscribe. I'll talk with you in the next one. Until then, let the healing begin.